doing today, I'm recycling and making new plants from old. So I've got these tubs I've saved from when I've bought fat balls for the bird feeders. I've got no multi-compost, but I've got a bag of farmyard manure and a bag of topsoil, so I'm mixing that together. Took some cuttings from a straggly plant that's in a pot down by the summer house. Stood it in water for a couple of weeks and it's produced some roots. So I've got 3 of those, and they're all creating little side shoots, which is good because that means it's going to be very bushy. I'll take these old leaves off. So if you look at that, that's all the new growth. So I'm going to plant them up now. Okay, so that's my first tub done. Doggy's just alerted me to somebody at the front door, and look what I've got. It's from Sutton Seeds. I ordered these in, I think it was something like the 9th of April, and they've come today, so it's taken a long time. So I'm going to open them and see what I've got, because I can't even remember what I ordered. There are many plants that you can take cuttings from and just propagate by leaving them in water. Some of the ones that I like to do are busy lizzies, tomatoes. I've discovered that I can do it with mint as well. I believe you can do it with begonias, but I'll be honest with you, I'm not a great fan of begonias, so I never grow them. And you can do it with antirrhinums. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you a tomato cutting that I took some weeks ago. This particular stem has been sitting in water for about 2 weeks and it's now producing some roots. It's even got a flower. Just going to give these a good soak. It looks a bit limp at the moment, but that hopefully will pick up. Afternoon everyone, we're back in my kitchen. Paddy and I came back from a lovely long walk about an hour and a bit ago, and one of the things I plan to do today is to make some elderflower cordial. So going out with his doggy, I took with me a bag and a pair of scissors and snipped away as we walked around the lanes. Now, one of the things I like to do when I collect elderflower is not to strip one plant. I just take a selection of flower heads. Let me show you some. This is a tiny one, but I've got loads. I like to take a selection from every plant that I go past. The reason for that being is you want some of them to be allowed to develop into berries, because obviously I'd like to collect some of those later in the year, and other people do as well. But also for the birds. The birds in late summer, early autumn like to eat all the fruit. So if you strip a whole plant, and they can be quite big, of all the flowers, there's not going to be any berries on them. So you do need to think about the wildlife a bit. I also find that by picking a few heads of flowers from different plants. They do seem to be quite different, so I think it adds to the variety. Now the smell, if you've never smelled elderflower before, it's just wonderful. It's got a lovely smell, but when you leave it just soaking in water for a short while, go out the room and come back, it has got an after smell. You've got the initial fragrance, but it also smells a bit like smelly feet or sweaty socks. I don't know why that is, but that's what it always seems to be to me. Anyway, I've washed everything that I've brought back to debug it and get the dust off. And what I did notice, and what you will find when you collect your own, is that not all black bits are bugs. If you have a good close look, some of them are flowers that have never developed, and so they look like little black bugs, but when you actually look closely you can see it's just a flower that hasn't developed, so you don't need to be too worried about it. I'm going to start making this cordial. So what I need is, I've got 2 sterilised jars. I'm not entirely sure whether I'll fill both. Depending how much is left after I fill the first one, I've also got some ice cube trays. So what I could do is put it into ice cubes and freeze it off, put them into the sections and freeze them. When they're frozen, I'll bag them up, and then that'll be individual portions just to put in a glass and then top up with perhaps sparkling water. So that's an option I've given myself. So I've showed you the flowers. I've got 2 lemons. I couldn't get any vanilla pods anywhere, but I've just had a look online, and the average vanilla pod, the equivalent in extract, is about 2.5 teaspoons. And then I've got sugar, and I had this from when I was making soap. It's citric acid powder, so I need a teaspoon of that, I think. I'll have to check the recipe in a minute. So the first thing I need to do is I want water. Okay, so I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of the vanilla extract. It's actually a tablespoon of the citric acid. A kilogram of sugar. The syrup is now on a rapid boil. I'm waiting for it to reduce to about half the quantity. When I get to that stage, I will then take it off the heat. I will add the elderflower and let that infuse as it cools. I will show you that when I get to that point, and pour it into the bottles and the ice trays. And again, I will film that when I get to that point. So I've taken this syrup off the heat now, and I'm going to add all of the elderflower. Gentle stir. All covered. Okay, I'm going to leave that now until that cools completely. There are 2 bottles, 3 jars. I've also managed to do 2 ice trays which are in the freezer, and I've poured myself a glass. So this is elderflower, lemon and vanilla cordial. I'll put the link below. It's actually from the BBC Food website. There's lots of other recipes online, but do have a go and let me know what you think. these beans in. These are the French climbing, and I've got 3 Belotti over there. Really disappointed, to be honest. For the French climbing beans, I've sown I think 12 now and only got 3. And I think I've probably sown just as many of the Belotti, and again only got 3. So I don't know what's up with the seed this year. I don't know whether the heat last year damaged it in some way. It's curious, but they're in. I'm just starting to plant up my tubs. I'm gonna dig out that mint because I've got some cuttings growing down the other end of the garden, so it'll be another tub for more annuals and a bit more colour. So these are all done now. Just got to go and do over by the